So when we talk about stealing, it is prohibited in the Quran, it is prohibited in the Sunnah, and the consensus of Muslims that it is a major sin. Allah says in the Quran, as for the thief, male and female, amputate their hands in recompense for what they committed as a deterrent or a punishment from Allah, and Allah is exalted in might and wise. Also, the Prophet ﷺ in his lifetime amputated the hand of a woman known to be Al-Makhzumiyya. She's from the reputable and honorable tribe of Bani Makhzum. And we all know that because of her tribe, many people tried to intercede so that the Prophet ﷺ would not implement such a punishment. And they sent Usama ibn Zayd, whom was known to be the love of the Prophet ﷺ and the son of his love. What is this? It has nothing to do with what people may think, because in the West, when you say to another man, I love you, they take it negatively in a homosexual way, and they say, don't say that, say I like you. And as Muslims, we don't have this nonsense. We don't have, with the grace of Allah, homosexuality or LGBT. All of these things are prohibited in Islam. And the concept of love is a great concept in Islam. The Prophet ﷺ told us about the virtues of loving your brother for the sake of Allah, and that among the 7 who will be shaded in the shade of Allah on the day of judgment, where there's no shade other than His, are 2 who met and loved one another for the sake of Allah and departed on that. And the Prophet told us, ﷺ, whenever you love someone, tell them. So if I find a brother whom is practicing in a good Muslim and I love him for the sake of Allah, the sunnah is to go and notify him, as the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ clearly states. So this kind of love is a love that is endorsed in Islam. Usama ibn Zayd, his father was Zayd ibn Haritha. He was a slave given to Khadija, the mother of the believers, the wife of the Prophet ﷺ, by her nephew Hakeem ibn Hizam ibn Khuwaylid, whom in turn she gave Zayd ibn Haritha as a gift to the Prophet ﷺ. The Prophet loved Zayd as a son, so he freed him and he was announced to be Zayd ibn Muhammad. And in the beginning, adoption was permitted in Islam. And then Allah Azza wa Jal revealed in verse 33, in chapter 33, Surah Al-Ahzab, that adoption is prohibited. So he kept Zayd with him as a freed slave. He was a free man, but he loved him as a son. When Zayd married Zainab bint Jahsh, the honorable Qurayshi woman who happens to be the cousin of the Prophet ﷺ, according to the advice of the Prophet, who ﷺ advised her to accept him, she could not live with him a peaceful marriage due to the fact that he was a freed slave and she was a woman from the dignitaries of Quraysh. After a while, he divorced her. And then the Prophet ﷺ chose for him a very old Abyssinian woman by the name of Ayman, who was way older than him. Yet he found peace and love with her, and she gave him, shockingly, his son Usama. Now Zayd was white and Usama was black. And the Prophet ﷺ loved Usama like he loved Al-Hassan and Al-Hussein, his own grandchildren. So, going back to our original story, they, that is the tribe of Bani Makhzum, sent Usama ibn Zayd to ask the Prophet ﷺ for leniency towards this woman who stole money. And the Prophet ordered her hand to be cut off. When Usama came to the Prophet ﷺ and talked to him about it, the Prophet was very angry. And he made a statement for history. And he said, by Allah, what destroyed the nations before you was that whenever an honorable man stole, they let him go. And whenever a poor person stole, they implemented the prescribed punishment. By Allah, if Fatima, the daughter of Muhammad, were to steal, I would have amputated her hand as well. And since then, this was a benchmark for all Muslims, that the prescribed punishment, once it reaches the Imam, the Muslim ruler, it has to be carried out. There's no clemency or leniency in that, because this is the rule of Allah Azza wa Jal.